Let's try that again. Good morning and welcome. This is Tampa Home Talk. I'm your host, Katrina Meadwell, joined by Mr. Leo Kane.
I'm so excited to be here. I've got such exciting news to share. We've got numbers. I've got statistics. This is awesome. Welcome. This is Leo Kane with Beryl Engineering and Inspection, bringing you the top of the hour, top of the market.
Yeah, let's talk about the top of the hour, top of the market for sure. This week we're rolling in at 861. I'm so glad you wrote that because I can't read anything that's printed.
So I want to start talking about percentages so we can start tracking that absorption rate. Now, can you remind our listeners what an absorption rate is?
So absorption rate is when you think about basic supply and demand. It's like I use the analogy when there's plenty of water on the shelf, but if you wait for a hurricane to come, then there's no more water on the shelf. That sort of thing. It's supply and demand. So
the price of water goes up.
It's not supposed to, but it does.
Well, it goes up in that it's not discounted, because I can walk into a grocery store right now and I can get buy one, get one on a 24-pack of water.
Yeah, they don't do that.
That disappears. So prices go up.
Yep. So it's basic supply and demand. So it's the number of, when thinking about real estate, it's the number of things we sell, right? So houses on the market compared to the number of buyers in the market, and how long would it take for all those homes to sell with the current buyers in the market. And that's how we track the absorption rate, which is the number of months supply of homes for sale.
And one of the ways we can track that is by, do we have a trend of more houses coming on the market or less houses coming on the market compared to what's available? So one of the changes we made last week, and then we're going to continue doing that forward, is I'm going to start comparing this week's sold to last week's new. And we'll start to get real-time data on where we're trending in the market. So I want to say just flat out that this week's sold is the strongest we've seen all year.
Yeah, we're coming in at 879. It is the strongest.
Well, that's pending.
Oh, pending. You're right. Sorry, 648.
But even in pending, so we have, this was a very strong week for sellers in taking the market, taking houses off the market. So when we take a look at the 648, which was the number of sold for this week, and we compare it to the number of new from last week, 75% of that inventory is gone. So we're trending still towards a buyer's market.
Well, no.
We're trending in that direction because
we're trending towards a balanced market.
Oh yes, so
Everybody
balanced market's in the middle. We're still trending towards the buyers.
Well, it's a solid 6 months of inventory. Like
I know,
0 to 6 months is a seller's market.
We're not
6
there.
to 12 is a balanced. 12 or more is a buyer's market.
Okay, so we're trending towards the balanced market. But what's interesting is this is the strongest month. This is the strongest week to week we've had with properties leaving the market. Because before that, we were looking at around a 50%. 50% of your new listings were already gobbled up by a pending from somewhere else as far as becoming sold. So this is a trend that if this trend can continue, where the number of solds is approaching the number of new listings, we can start to see a market shift back towards the seller market.
Yeah, we're starting, look right here. You see in January, there was 576 new on the 5th, and then sold there was 584. That's pretty neck and neck, and then you see a big change next week.
Yeah, well, we would expect that because if you're looking at the number of solds at the end of the year, there's this big rush to close at the end of the year.
Right.
So I'll be interested in continuing to track this week's sold to last week's new to see how we're trending with inventory overall.
So are you going to calculate this percentages every week, and then we'll hang on to that data? We
should be talking about the percentages. I mean, this is how to track the market to see where we're heading, especially in light of what the Fed did to us this week.
Yeah, that's on our list. That's on our list of stuff to talk about. All right, so just to recap on the numbers, our number of new listings. Are you going to calculate the percentage while I spew this off?
You can. Mentally, I can do it in your head.
Yeah. I love you. You're so great. Look at that. 861 is the number of new listings on the market. Decreases coming in at a sharp 1018. Sold coming in at 648 and pending at 879.
So it's our strongest week of the year. I will safely say that. It's our strongest week of the year. And if a groundhog sees a shadow, I'll be wearing this jacket for the next 6 weeks. It is Groundhog's Day. Could you imagine doing this radio show 10,000 times?
No.
Because that's what happens in the movie. He has approximately 10,000 days. And you know how they calculate that using the movie? You've seen the movie, right? Please tell me you've seen this one.
I have seen the movie. It's just been a really long time. I have seen that one.
So we are talking about Groundhog's Day, one of Bill Murray's finest movies. So what ends up happening is he's caught in a romantic comedy love loop where he has to legitimately win the girl. And that's basically the sum of the movie. Mm-hmm. So to do that, he tries going down these different paths, and he masters the piano. He masters cooking. He masters all these crafts. Now, if they say it takes on average 7 years to master a hobby to that level, that's how they calculate it was approximately 30 years or 10,000 days that he was trapped in that loop.
Wow. Okay. Never would have thought to look at it that way, but
like the math in me, that it's the nerd community. We dive into that sort of
you're
thing.
calculating stuff that people aren't even watching.
So I'll be looking today to see if that groundhog sees a shadow. I mean, we've had a brutal winter this year. We had a brutal summer too. It was a very dry summer, but now we've had a brutal winter where it's been cold, very cold.
It has been chillier than normal. Gasparilla was nice though.
Yeah, it was weird. We had this one 80-degree day, and then bam, it's been freezing on both sides of it. Speaking of which, I didn't see you at Gasparilla, but I did see your youngins.
You know, I walked up pretty far, and then there was a certain point my friends turned around. I walked a little further, and then I turned around, and Maddie still kept walking. She's like, I saw Leo.
We took pictures together.
I just did not walk far enough. Yes.
Well, I was in float 39. You were in the 70s.
Yep.
And I was a walker in the parade, so I wasn't allowed on the float because I wasn't a member. So I figured if I'm about to walk 7+ miles, I'm not going to walk up and down the parade float.
Which I didn't walk the route. It was 4.5 miles. I was on top, but yeah.
How did I log 7.5 miles if the route was only 4.5?
Probably pre-parade, like all the things. And I think it went. Somebody said it was a little longer than.
It felt longer.
Longer than it was mapped, I guess.
Yeah. And it went by pretty quickly. I mean, it was 2.5 hours, and using I had 4 bags of beads with 144 beads, and if I had thrown a bead every 35 seconds, I would have equaled a perfect amount of bead thrown.
Oh, I love where we're going. Like most people are not thinking about that. They're just drinking and tossing beads. I'm just saying.
Well, it's like Nikki's. Okay, I was just talking about the bead throwing because I'm getting ready for the night parade in a couple of weeks, and I have to find out what the optimum amount of bead to time ratio is.
So are we doing the night parade too? Yeah? No? You're not doing that? Okay. You're just going to talk about it. Got it.
Let me ask you a question. Schreiner brought this up on his show the other day, and I said, I've got to make sure I ask, Katrina and you guys about this. That he said statistics now out there are showing that single women are buying more homes than single men.
I believe that.
I actually did see a report on that. I didn't elect to put it in our outline, but I did see that.
I'd also say married women are buying more homes than their married men.
Well, that's single women, and where do they get the money that the single guys are not getting?
They have their bleep together.
I'm just going to say that, let's be honest, a man and a woman walk into the house. I'm a real estate agent. I'm not selling the house to the dude. I'm selling the house to the woman. I'm showing her the kitchen, showing her the master
You only have to
bathroom.
sell the garage to the dude. That's it.
Yeah, sell the garage. This is where you'll escape. Look at all this extra space. You can fit a golf cart here. I'll never want a golf cart, but you can fit one in the garage.
It's interesting when we walk through properties with clients, the guys always go straight for the garage, and the women are like wandering around by themselves, going to the master bedroom, primary bedroom, checking out the bathroom, all that stuff.
So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that single women are buying more homes than single men. Single men just want to live in an apartment with their cozy little plate, one cup, 2 sets of silverware, and they're good to go.
Well, I mean, let's face it, women mature faster than men, for the most part.
But people are buying homes later in life.
And they're buying homes later in life, and it's more expensive. So think about it. The kids now, I mean, shoot, they're going to be 30 before they buy a house. I think it's going to be a minute, for sure.
Generational housing is back, only the generational house, the bedrooms, now the couch.
Yeah, or hopefully they redesign the space a little better. So let's talk about this because remember we were talking about the rates. Everybody was saying, oh, there's going to be 3 rate decreases this year.
Closer to the election.
And I said, I don't know. I definitely said it would be mid to later part of the year.
Closer to the election.
Even without the election, because of inflation and all the stuff, they had to hike the rates. And, I know people want the rates to be lower, but ironically, it's an election year, and that always plays a little part of it, but it's really more about the numbers. So,
well, I have noticed, speaking of the numbers, and I'm going to detract us from the rates for a second. I was in the grocery store the other day, and some of you guys know that I create and cook my own dog food. So I'm buying the same stuff over and over again. I've watched my canned vegetables that I use go from 89 cents to $1.19. Now, on the surface, that doesn't seem like, oh well, it's a little bit. But if I'm using 4 cans, the vegetable component has gone up $1.20. So I've noticed meats. I used to buy 3 pounds of turkey meat for $9.99, and that went all the way up to $15.99. So what I have now seen, though, is with sales this week, I noticed the turkey meat. The standard price was $12.99, so the standard price of my turkey meat has dropped $2. And then now the sale price was at $8.99. So technically now this turkey meat for this week is cheaper than I'm used to buying turkey meat. So we have started to see a decline. Notice the same thing with eggs. I've seen egg prices drop. I'm noticing prices start to come down on certain components, which is promising.
Yeah. I mean, that's the stuff that the Fed looks for, right? When they talk about inflation and getting it under control and if they're going to adjust the rates. So on Wednesday, they voted to leave interest rates unchanged for the 4th straight meeting.
And I take my hand and I shake it in a fist.
While they indicated moving towards a possible future cut. Probably summertime.
Closer to the election.
Yeah. But probably not before May at the earliest. I would be surprised even in May if they drop it. I would be surprised.
2 things to look for. One is what is the Fed doing with these rates? The second thing is what are the grocery stores doing with their prices? Because even if the Feds are leaving rates alone, if the grocery stores are dropping their prices on standard items, milk, meat, eggs, things people need to buy, water, beer, if they're dropping the prices of those items, we're still seeing, even though we don't have a drop in the rate, we still have a drop in the prices, which will increase the disposable income of people. So if I have to buy this turkey meat twice a week, for instance, if I have to buy it twice a week and now I have $10 extra in my pocket, I'm more likely to spend that $10 on something else.
I think that's a small little nuance in the whole picture.
But it's a piece of the big picture. It all deals with disposable income, and that's where the Fed rate is important because it impacts people's disposable income.
It is. The bigger challenge, at least here locally, is the cost of insurance going up. You know, the car insurance, health insurance has went up. Basically, housing insurance, that whole thing is a little bit of a mess. But the Fed said basically they need to see greater confidence that inflation is moving sustainably. So this is what you're saying is in line with what the Feds are saying they want to see before they'll consider making those decreases.
Yeah, we're seeing and that's just in the food market. We're also seeing in the construction market prices are dropping. Contractors are becoming hungrier for actual work. I'm seeing more contractors show up to our pre-bid meetings. These are all signs that the economy is starting to become in a way where people need work and people want the work to do.
Yeah, I mean, central bank basically has that dual mandate to keep both inflation and unemployment rate low, right? They're looking at both of those things and have heavily focused on the recent meetings on reining in inflation, which has been like the bullseye they've been looking at.
Which is tough because
that target 2%.
You have to balance that rate with your unemployment rate, because if your rates are too high and people aren't spending money, and we are in an economy here for the U.S. which is based on consumerism.
Yeah.
So that, again, I'm going to go back to the grocery store. I have an extra $10. I might go out to lunch with that $10 one more time that week. That allows a restaurant to have one more server on staff, things of that nature. And that's the way the cascading effect of the economy works, by having that disposable income. So by lowering the rates, I have more disposable income. It allows me to spend more money, which allows these other professions to have employment. And that's going to start curbing unemployment. That's going to start curbing the recession we're currently in.
Yeah, I mean, basically they said that they're very unlikely to start cutting these interest rates until it's gained the greater confidence that inflation is moving, right at that 2% number. That's what they're looking for. And yeah, I think, again, it all it's not just the 2%, it's also employment. And like you say, people showing up looking for work that weren't before, those are some of the things they're looking at.
It's a big, and then the other thing we'll be looking for is volatility. As a business owner, I'll know we're out of the recession when I start to see volatility in our low-level positions. Low-level positions, they jump around a lot. If they can make an extra 25 cents somewhere, they'll go. So for that aspect, we've been very stable in the past year on our low-level positions. So when I start to see a little volatility there, I'll know, and it's not just us, I track other business owners, and we're part of CEO groups and stuff like that. When we start to see volatility in our low-level employees, we'll start to know that the economy is coming out of a recession.
Interesting.
Yeah, it'll all those little things, and I think we see them, right? As business owners, we see them.
We don't talk about
in the
them.
day-to-day. We don't, but we see them, so this is where, like, when people start to talk about the housing market making changes, even back in 06, like if you remember that, in like 08, I remember when, like, just having that feeling and being in the market. And I remember in December thinking, this is not sustainable. This is not going to continue. And when we turned the corner, I was like, oh, this is it. It's starting. Like in January, I remember saying, this is the beginning of who knows where we're going to end. And I had banter back and forth with appraisers at that time that said, and I was wrong, but I had appraisers that said it'll be a solid 24 months before we're out of this. And they were right. They were so right. And in 2008 was really when the bottom of the market was, and it started picking back up. And I remember there was a condo hotel in Madeira Beach I had listed as a short sale, and it was $145,000. It was right on the beach, and I was like, man, if I had the cash, I would have write a check for this. And then it was like nothing. Then out of nowhere, I had 4 buyers for that property, and that was when I started seeing the cash come back into the market. So 813-377-2775, 813-377-2775. That's our off-air number. I'll give it out one more time when we come back. We're going to talk about 2024 real estate designs and trends to watch for. 813-377-2775.
Welcome home. This is Leo Kane with Beryl Engineering and Inspection, discussing all the new news. And I have a question for Adam. Adam, did you know that on Tuesday, Sweden elected the head of IKEA as the new president of Sweden?
I did not, but that sounds pretty good.
I'm really excited to see how he puts together his cabinet.
Oh, you and the dad jokes are so good. They're getting better and better.
I will say that is a very, very good one.
Impressive.
And I will say, if you want to test your marriage, go to IKEA, pick any piece of furniture, and then go build it together. That is the true test.
I gotta tell you.
I slid that in so fast, you guys thought it was real.
No, I knew it wasn't real. I knew better because you come back to the dad joke. But it was so good. It was good.
Thank you.
It is one of your better ones. Some of them, they fall a
So
little
I'll tell you an IKEA story. So when we moved, we put this whole like IKEA closet, right? System in the closet. I had 3 TaskRabbit people cancel.
Oh, no.
3.
Because you can order them to have, like, for $25 or $50, they'll put your stuff together for you.
It was more than that. It was like per hour, but
It's per hour, yeah.
yeah. So
And they
anyway,
canceled right before they showed up, or?
so the first guy just canceled, like just said, sorry, can't do it. So I had to pick somebody else up. Second guy came, and remember, I had construction all in the neighborhood, and he was parked in the street, and like there was a time where they were parking on certain sides of the street based on what they're doing. So if the construction people are parking on one side, everybody's got to park on that side. Otherwise, the big trucks can't get through the street. So I said, hey, can you move your truck and park on the other side of the street or in the driveway? Because otherwise, the big trucks are going to be honking because they can't get through.
And he just got in his truck and went home.
He threw his toolbox in the back of the truck, and I thought he was going to loop around. He just never came back.
Well, toddlers love when the big trucks make the big noises.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, I can't remember what happened to the third guy, but by that point I was like, I'm going to put this together myself faster than I'm waiting for these guys, and I had my handyman.
I always question the hiring the handyman by the hour to do a specific task. I always just want to hire them to do the specific task, not inclusive of time, because if you know it's going to take 40 minutes to put something together and you hire someone by the hour and it takes them 2 hours, you paid them for 2 hours. But they should have been able to do it in 40 minutes, so you should have only paid them for an hour.
This is where I'm going to push back on this one, Leo, because all the time my handyman will come in and do things to get properties on the market, and he's always by the hour because sometimes there's things that come up that are unexpected.
No, that I can respect.
Somebody you trust, that you're like, hey, I need you to do this.
trust
It should
him.
cost you an hour, but
No, if I'm
you could
hiring-
spend 3, just make sure everything else.
If
looks
I'm
good.
hiring someone to put this table together and this table alone,
Florgenschlagen,
the Schwarzenschlagen, or whatever it's called. If I'm hiring someone to put this table together, and that's the only thing I'm having them do, I should have a lump sum fee, and if it takes them 30 minutes or 5 hours, it should be the same fee.
Okay, if
Smart
it's
guy
a-
like you, though, you never pay somebody to build something, right? You're an engineer.
Well, I put them together myself.
That's what I thought.
Exactly.
This guy likes Legos. He knows what he's
There's
doing.
enough. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, they have their little side screws that you put into the wood, you turn it sideways, and that locks the screw in place.
Do you love
They have the
that?
little
Do you love
pegs.
putting these together?
I just love the efficiency of how easy they are to put together. I recently got a coffee table because I had a 3D printer now, and I got a coffee table for it. So I had to put together 4 legs. I had to put, and then two shelves. One shelf to put my reels of PLA, which is the filament, and then one shelf for the printer to sit on. I put that thing together in 15 minutes. It only had 6 parts, and each part not only was very easy to put together, they comes with pre-drilled holes, or it comes with a guide on where you then need to drill your hole. But I mean, they're so simple.
Yeah, some people cringe when they look at the IKEA. Some of those bigger pieces are harder to put together. And
I mean, we put together.
Other people.
They do last, though. I mean, we put
They do.
together an island, a kitchen island, had that big, heavy block of wood on top. And
You didn't get granite for it?
no, and we got.
I'll tell you
we
that-
got it like 6 years ago. Still looks good.
they last. They don't move. Don't try to move.
Oh, yeah, don't try and
anything
move
This
else.
actually moved, but we put it real nice.
So
I don't know how 2 of my big cabinets made it in the move, but like literally after that, I'm like, okay, almost all the stuff is falling apart. I'm never gonna move it.
Yeah,
in
you
IKEA.
last
Like,
forever
I
until you
did have
move
like
it.
a bedside table, like nightstand,
So
or
it's
whatever.
small.
That did not move very well.
No,
that
that doesn't
stayed where it
move,
was.
yeah.
That stayed in St. Pete.
What were you gonna say? We can't all talk at once.
No, I can't remember what I was going to say. It's just we're all talking at once.
All right, so let's look at 2024 real estate design trends to watch. This article I thought was really fascinating. Smith Buchan is the one that actually created it, and then Realtor Magazine reproduced it. And it said in 2024, buyers will be looking for homes with AI-driven tech, large windows, and EV charging stations, among other amenities.
So AI-driven tech. I mean, a lot of that AI-driven tech is an aftermarket thing. You plug your things in all around, but AI-driven tech can also be outlets that are already smart outlets, and they can have like. I'm almost imagining we're getting the intercom systems back of the 80s.
All right, so let's just rearrange the outline because I had that planned for the latter.
could-
part
I
of
didn't
the
even
show.
know. I didn't
Or it
read
could be
that
like the
one.
movie Smart House, the Disney movie
Well,
Smart House.
So, I mean, as I'm reading this, the first thing I thought was AI-driven tech, like specifically what is AI-driven tech, right? So I pulled an article of 7 things, and so we can chat about this, and we'll come back to
Oh, yeah,
that.
let's come back to it. I didn't even realize that. This is me not paying attention.
No, we'll
to
chat
the-
about it. So smart thermostats were on there. That was an example.
Oh, yeah, that's-
of
yeah,
aftermarket.
So smart thermostat. What is like? I can do it from my phone, or does it that
So,
it automatically
for
changes?
example,
or
I put smart thermostats in the office. We have 2 of them, and so it's set to auto cool.
Yep.
oh yeah, we got
At a
that.
certain time, and then it turns off after a certain time.
Do you consider that to be AI? Because I'm manually
Yes.
inputting the times I want it to change.
So-
it's just more of a setting than a artificial intelligence, in my opinion.
It's actually called a PLC control. So what you end up doing, and you can get this through Tico. You can sign up for
I
time.
have that through Vivint with my alarm system.
You can sign up for time of use metering through Tico to get discounts, and you'll get a smart thermostat. And what it does is it has certain bands of time that you pay more or less for electricity. So at peak time, which right now is 6 to 10 a.m., you pay the most. So you don't run the dishwasher, you don't do the dryer, you don't do your high intensity items during this time of the year. But now during the summer months, that shifts to 1 to 6 p.m. So you got to do all that stuff in the morning, and then you can't be doing laundry in the afternoon. So the thermostat is dual controlled. One, it's keeping track of how much energy you're using during those time periods. And 2, it's got parameters at each of those that you program, like I want my house to be at 78 degrees during peak and 75 during normal.
78 degrees. Oh my God, that's an oven. Dude.
I would love my house at 78 during the summer. Don't get me wrong.
So also you can control this by your phone, right? Don't forget about that, or talk to it, like Alexa, adjust the volume to whatever, right? So also energy monitoring systems. So this is pretty cool. Is that what we were talking about, Leo? It says AI powered energy monitoring systems can track energy usage in real time and provide insights on how to reduce consumption.
So,
but do they talk to each other? Like,
the electric's not going to talk to your plumbing, but your energy monitoring systems, they could, there's several of them, they can detect a leak, and if they detect a leak, they turn the water off to the house.
Those are actually, I'm glad you mentioned that, and I think we talked about it previously, but that's one of the discounts that we're seeing some of our forward-thinking carriers add in. So if you have the smart water valve that automatically shuts off, you get a pretty big discount. And I could even see in the future where if you want full water, and you might be able to get in an older home if you have that. Now that's a thought, not something that's happening.
But it's interesting that you're seeing discounts for smart technology.
$100 for that too.
It makes sense. I mean, like if you have one of those on your water meter, because basically in an ideal setting, there should be no faucet in your house moving more than 2.5 gallons per minute. Right. You've changed out your shower head. That would be your most. Your second is your washer fill, and even that takes a while. I mean, it's a 40-gallon tub, and it feels like it takes forever to fill. Mm-hmm. So to that aspect, these meters, they detect if there's water draw more than 2.5 gallons per minute, and that's when they shut off.
Well, and you got to think too, like if it shuts off automatically, even if you do have a little bit of a leak or something, you probably shut it off way before it's going to cause major damage, so you're probably under your deductible anyways, and B, you prevent what would probably be a claim a year later, which would be your mold and fungi and all the
things that comes with that,
all the nasty stuff.
Smart lighting is also on here. So AI-enabled smart lighting systems that adjust brightness and color of light based on the time of day, occupancy, and saving energy. That's pretty cool.
Televisions have had that for a while. I mean, depending, your TV has, like, if you've ever noticed on a TV, a Sony product TV is going to have those little leaves that appear at the bottom. Mm-hmm. That's their eco adjusting to the glare from the sun coming into the room so you can still see the screen.
That's smart, isn't it? It's crazy how smart some of this technology you've got, and people probably don't even notice. I never would have noticed that. All right, energy efficient appliances. So AI can optimize energy usage of appliances such as refrigerator, washing machines, dishwashers to reduce the overall energy consumption.
And this is simple as when you go back to the washer machine, it's going to detect how much clothing you have in there, and it's going to autofill to a certain height. And that's what it's doing. Or dryers that can be programmed to dry to a certain dryness, and then they shut off. So some of this stuff's been around for a long time.
What do you think about those washer-dryer same unit things?
Oh, that's the rave in Europe.
I think I don't want to be the beta test on it, but
they've been using it in Europe for a long time.
Any small space has it, yeah. Because there's a lot of small spaces in Europe, right?
I get 2 of them, that way.
We're going to give you 3 more of these when we come back, and then we'll circle back around to 2024 real estate design trends to watch. This is Tampa Home Talk. Our operator number is 813-377-2775. 813-377-2775. Again, off-air call or text 813-377-2775. We'll be right back. Stick around.
Welcome home. This is Adam Talley with Talley Insurance, and you're listening to Tampa Home Talk. And before we dive back into our 2024 trends and AI houses and that kind of stuff, do have our tip of the week, and we did talk about a little bit of it with the smart water protection and that kind of stuff. And you can get those. You can get those from the same people that do your centrally monitored alarm sometimes. But in addition to that, something that we're seeing is very popular, becoming more and more popular, are solar panels. And unfortunately, there's certain carriers that do not want to insure homes that have solar panels. So if you are going to get them, you need to, make sure, you need to talk to your insurance agent, make sure that your carrier will allow you to have them. If not, you need to get a quote for a carrier that will, so you know your price difference. Similarly, at a certain wattage, you have to carry an additional liability coverage up to $1 million. And if you're with Citizens, for example, they only cover up to $100,000. So that policy to get you from 100,000 to $1 million could be like $500 or $600. So you need to factor all this in when you're looking at your savings that you think solar is going to do for you, because it doesn't quite add up sometimes.
And the solar never adds up. I mean, you have to spend all this money up front to save $150 a month on your electric bill. Then your insurance is going up, and now you have to carry a different type of insurance, and it's going to lower the useful life of your roof. I mean, what's the point?
What percentage of your carriers are starting to not like it or add on extra stuff?
So it's not that it's more they've always not taken it. So we have a few that are coming more online. We probably are 333, like 33, 33, 33 as far as it would be. So we have, in 1/3 of the camp, they don't want solar at all, right? In another third, they'll take solar, but they're not going to provide any coverage for the solar panels whatsoever. And then we have another third that will take it and will provide additional coverage for the solar panels.
I've seen nothing but just layer after layer. I mean, unless you have room to do like a solar farm kind of thing, like where it's not on your roof, that's different, I think.
Like I don't want to get into the the good and bad of what solar can do. I think my main problem, and it's kind of like it is in every other industry, you have the 1% that ruin it for everybody else. I just think the sales tactics don't have a lot of transparency to them when they're telling you the numbers behind it.
No.
Yes,
right?
I would agree with that.
That's my big issue with it. Is there's certain salespeople that
just
are
the numbers.
just feeding you numbers.
These
to get you to do
salespeople
it.
say, "Oh, it's transferable. It's this and that." I mean, they literally sell it to them, but when you read the fine print, no, you own that baby.
Right.
They do it in Europe. They have solar on, like I've been in towns in Germany where every single gable roof has solar panels on their south or west facing slopes, and I have yet to see any math for a residential house here in Florida, Tampa area, where it makes sense.
Well, I mean, we don't have the data yet, but I would love to see the data in 10 years from now on what the wind flow looks like when a hurricane comes and you have solar, and how that impacts the roofs. I mean, we don't have enough data points to really say one way or another, but I know that's the fear from the carriers that don't want it.
Well, I'm not concerned about the wind upload because we do solar design. I'm so anti-solar, but we do solar design.
He's willing to design it for you.
We'll design it.
People don't want it.
So there are rack mount systems, RK2 systems out there, MT2 systems out there. They're going to uphold the 150 plus mile per hour winds. Where solar starts literally to break down is you have to send someone up there every year and silicone and seal all those penetrations. And some of them are hard to get. Some of them are hard to get to. And that's where it starts to break down, is when over time you've now got all these penetrations in your roof that need to be maintained. I mean, the system itself, I'm not worried that an Ian's going to come through and rip off a solar panel. If it's going to rip off a solar panel, the rest of your roof is screwed too.
Speaking of which, the next one on this list was automated energy management systems. And it says AI-driven energy management system can analyze energy usage patterns and automatically adjust settings to minimize waste.
That is awesome. So that's taking what I've already mentioned about that time of use metering up to a new level. If you're home, and I see this in hotels all the time. In a hotel, you've got to put your key card in a slot when you walk in the door for the room's stuff to be on. It's got a different AC setting when no one's in the room, just to circulate some air. None of the lights are on, because I've done it myself. I've left a hotel room with like 2/3 of the lights on. But if you got a system where you have to put your key into the slot, and I leave the room with my key,
That would save a lot of energy.
it would.
For sure.
Only I cheat that system. I just get an extra key and leave it in there the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, because, listen, I want that AC system running. I like it nice and chilly in that hotel room.
But I mean, this is just if the home can detect if people are in certain rooms or not in certain rooms and adjust. Because I think back to these Nest systems with the ACs, where you can zone control each room in a residential house. They've been doing that commercial for like 20 years, 20 plus years.
Yeah.
So more along the lines of here, we're going to be seeing systems that can tell where people are at in the house and automatically adjust comfort levels. That's going to be drastic. Solar panel optimization. We're right back into solar. AI can optimize the performance of solar panel by adjusting their angle and orientation based on weather conditions and energy demand. It's called azimuth. It's already being done. Can't be done in residential houses. But what happens is the solar panels actually tilt more south or more west throughout the day to catch the sun.
Could you do it on a townhouse?
A flat roof, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, flat roof.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really doesn't make sense on the hip roofs or the gable roofs. So again, these panels on these types of roofs, they just vary so slightly, but that's enough to get a lot more energy. Because when we're doing solar calculations, and this I keep saying south and west, if you put your panels on the north face or the east face, you could be losing 20 to 30% efficiency. Mm-hmm. And then these panels, by shifting and adjusting, you gain more efficiency. So
is it southwest all year round, or just southwest, over the winter? Like, what is does it need to rotate? I would think it would need to rotate with the Earth's rotation.
I mean, ideally, it's south facing. Like, if you give me a standard hip roof, which is your pyramid-shaped roof, and you said you can give me solar panels on one face, I would say just south.
Okay. For Florida or for everybody?
Everybody.
Okay. Other side of the equator would be north?
These are good questions.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. Does the sun rise in the east and set in the west?
It does, but if you're trying to point it to where you get the maximum amount of sun throughout the entire year, we should point south because that's where the equator is.
True.
More sun.
I don't know the answer to that.
All right.
I don't know the answer to that one.
I'm thinking he's on point with that one.
I can agree with the logic. I'll have to look into that.
Look into the science. Come back next week.
Yeah, so...
All right, number 7. So this is the last one. Predictive maintenance. So AI can predict when the home systems and appliances are likely to fail. This is cool. Mm-hmm. Allowing for proactive maintenance to prevent energy waste. That's pretty cool. Where have you seen that? Have you?
I before I started working in residential, I was working in water treatment plants. So I've seen predictive maintenance schedules and things. And basically what they are is, again, something that's been around for a while. You'll have a programmed list of useful life of several equipment. Like, you've probably seen a lot of these, Adam. Insurance claims for sump pumps for AC units that go out. Mm-hmm. So your ideal scenario is your AC has a line. It's creating condensate, which is moisture it is collected or dehumidified, and it kicks it out through a pipe. Sometimes you don't have a straight run, so you now need to use a pump to get the water out. When those pumps fail, and they fail after 8 to 12 years, and people don't realize this, they just start leaking into the cabinets, and typically these AC units are on the second floor, so you start leaking into your closet, then they see it appear in the kitchen, and you've got an insurance claim.
That's probably one of the most common causes of water damage claims, I would say, is your AC system. So, like, again, kind of talking about where carriers are going, AC age, water heater age, those are two things that they're starting to ask about. And, they're going to want to make sure that it's up and running. Or I even have a carrier where if you have a HVAC maintenance contract, that you get a discount because, okay, somebody's coming twice a year. They're going to at least vacuum up the condensation. It's going to...
Pour the little cup of bleach in it.
Right. It's going to be okay. So...
All right, so 2024 real estate design trends to watch. So top amenities, homeowners are looking for single family and multifamily, are seeking amenities like pickleball courts.
Okay.
That's on the list. Oh, God. Accessory dwellings. We've talked about this. Remember live?
ADUs, accessory dwelling units. Those will never go out of style.
I think there's going to be a greater demand for it than we've ever seen before over the next several.
Now, do you think now
years.
ADUs?
Accessory dwelling units.
You think you're? Yes, I got the acronym.
No, I'm just telling the audience.
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
Well, you already said it. You already said it.
Smash, like, and subscribe, by the way.
So you can learn all about ADUs. So I guess the question is certain municipalities are really restricting the use of that, to definitely long-term rental. You see that being an issue kind of across the board with people wanting to add it, or you think, hey, I'll have a long-term tenant back there and it's no big deal?
The push.
Not everybody's mom needs a second place to live.
I think you're going to have multi-gen housing, not just parents, but kids, like aging kids.
The push to get rid of the Airbnb or the vacation rental to make them long-term rentals is to create affordable housing. Because let's be honest, you're going to spend less money on an accessory dwelling unit rental than you would if you have a house.
Right.
So the push to get rid of it's a dual push. The hotels lobby heavily to get rid of the vacation rentals, and then the vacation rentals kind of killed themselves through supply and demand, because if you have 50 of them to choose from a street, you're not charging as much as if there's only 5.
That market got really just saturated. There was a ton of it, and it was like, oh my gosh, everyone's doing
well,
this.
And then you have some bad actors in there where it's like, okay, you have a $200 cleaning fee and all this other stuff that adds up, and like, okay, I might as well just go to a hotel where they're going to do all that anyways.
And that
you know?
was really the start to the turn. It's like, okay, I can rent this place for $125, but then I got a $150 cleaning fee and I got a $75 processing fee. So unless I'm there for more than 4 or 5 days, it doesn't make any sense. Hotel is still going to be cheaper.
Right. And then you still come with a list of rules like I can't do this, can't do that. It's like, okay, just let me go to my room in the hotel.
Yeah, let me go to my room in a hotel and trash it.
So I thought this was really cool. Our northern friends, one of the trends they're seeing are remodeled basements with saunas. Isn't that cool? I love that. I was like, that's pretty cool. If I had a basement, I'd probably put a steam room.
The hot cold plunge deal, you know.
Half of it's cold, half of it's hot.
I didn't respect the hot cold plunge until I did a Santa Fe trip in the winter, and I went to the hot springs, and it was like 35 degrees out, and I'm like, I'm not stripping down to a bathing suit, but man, that rush you get from going, like, it's so cold, and you get into 104-degree water, and everything from like your shoulders up is like freezing, but everything from your shoulders down is hot. You just feel great.
Sensational.
Home offices is on the list, as you might imagine. I don't think that's going away anytime soon. Outdoor spaces above a ground level. So basically, the outdoor extension of the living room, right? We've talked about that for a while. And AI-driven technology making homes more energy efficient.
So speaking of the above-level stuff outside, there's a place near my house that advertises shipping container pool.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys have seen that.
I've designed those.
We've talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Or maybe when we come back, I can get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, that's going to be longer than...
I
No,
know,
it's easy. That's easy. I love them.
Love them. Okay, you heard it here first. 813-377-2775.
Talk about the design aspect of that. And I think we have a few more minutes to talk about that when we come back. But
yeah.
So builders and designers also should consider helping Americans age in place. Remember we talked about that. Kitchens still remain the focal point for homeowners, and organizing shelves, walk-in pantries, lots of LED lights, large windows, and chargers for the EV stations. Those are all some design trends for 2024. Take that into consideration, Leo, for your design team. 813-377-2775. That's our off-air number. When we come back, let's talk about the pool container things. We'll be back in a minute.
Welcome home. This is Leo Kane with Beryl Engineering and Inspection. Oh, I get to do my favorite part of the show. I get to sponsor the segment where we announce listings that hopefully have open houses.
And I'm sponsoring his sponsorship of the segment.
Yeah,
so
here we go, you crazy
This is great. Beryl Engineering and Inspection is proud to present the Keller Williams listings with an open house. Beryl Project Engineering will not be at the open house, full disclosure, but we are proud to let you know.
Guarantee the structural integrity of said home.
We guarantee the structural integrity of said listing.
There we go.
The listing is a nice structured MLS
you
listing.
You have faith in me.
I have faith in the listing itself, like the paper the listing's on, the way it's crafted, what it's going to tell you about the house, and its formula. That we have full confidence, and we are saying that these listings themselves on the website, I have nothing to do with the actual house, but the listing itself is sound.
Love it.
Well, if you want any more information on these listings, I will give you our off-air number now and again at the end, 813-377-2775. That's our off-air number. We'll give you information about all of these listings. Some of them are brand new that just hit the market, 813-377-2775. So what you got, Maddie?
Yes, the first one we have is a condo in Dunedin, 831 Maple Court, Unit 209. This is a 2-bed, 1-bath condo, as I said, listed for $175, and there's been so many new things done to this property. 2022 new AC, the Connect Box breaker, 2019 new shower, new appliances, hot water heater, and they just paid for a new roof assessment, or a special assessment.
So the seller paid for the assessment?
So how many stories is that condo?
This condo is 3 stories.
And how old is it?
It's built in 1980.
What are our HOA fees on this bad boy?
Yeah, the HOA fees, they're actually not too bad. They are $549 monthly, but it covers pretty much everything: trash, water, sewer, pool maintenance, cable TV, maintenance for the exterior, all the grounds.
And now, based on the age of the home and the size of the building, has it had its reserve study done? That is a very important. Any condos that are over 30 years old and more than 3 stories, that is the most important
Definitely
question to
write
ask
that
on the
down,
listing.
because that's going to be a good one to ask the seller that you're going to want to get ahead of.
No, that hearing it just had a special assessment. It probably did, but that is the most important question you can ask of a condo in the state of Florida right now.
There is an elevator, and the HOA manager, I had a little trouble getting a hold of him, but he actually just sent me all of the documents, so I think that's in there too.
Yeah, the elevator isn't actually as important as knowing if it's at the study. I'm telling you, this is the most important piece of information we can be gathering.
Condos, and we've been
On
talking about
condos.
this for a while.
Don't beat up Maddie. Let her go. She has 5
And it's in a 55 plus too, so definitely the elevator.
Next listing.
The next one's in Wesley Chapel, 7400 Spandrel Drive, 3-bed, 2-bath. This one is an open floor plan, also has a split floor plan, built in 2005 and listed for $380,000.
How's our roof age on that one?
The roof age on this one, I'm gonna have to.
We're asking all the tough questions.
I know I don't have it in front of me. You guys are.
That's okay.
Getting me with good questions
gotta
this
get
morning.
it.
That's Adam's most important question.
That is my most important question.
Okay, so I'll make sure we have a roof on that next time.
Speaking of which, if Senate Bill 1178, which is the citizens' bill they every year where they're doing the reserve studies, if 1178 gets passed as is, they're going to have actual statute law that says your shingle roof only lasts 15 years.
Sad.
They're trying for it again. Not 10 this time, but they're trying for 15.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, and the next one we have
I
is
think
in.
people are just going to go to metal or other stuff. I mean,
They're trying again. So this one will probably go through because they're putting in the reserve study side of it.
Sad. Okay.
Next one
Onward
we
and
have,
upward.
yes, is in Plant City at 4210 Neesmith Road. Right, Katrina?
yep.
4-bed, 2-bath, listed at $315,000, built in 1982. This one is a really large lot. It's a little over an acre. So, Katrina, you
Already
said there's
divided up, ready for horses. The lady had horses there, and so it's all.
No agriculture issues or
No,
anything
she had
like
a couple
that.
of horses there.
Tough questions, Adam. We're beating her up on our listings.
She had a couple horses.
You
there.
crushed her on the condo. I'm just asking.
I'm just saying, if you want to sell a condo in Florida right now,
Ask that first.
you need to ask that first. And the reason why is I left a meeting last night. I was in a meeting from 6 to 8 last night. Buyers are able to sue their sellers and their sellers' agents over this fact. So I'm trying to protect you guys.
Okay. Well, thank you.
I'm just curious about the horses. Don't listen to me.
And the next one we have, it's been sitting on the market for a little while. Exora Lane, 10636 Exora Lane, 2-bed, 2-bath, listed for $250,000. This one's built in 1969, and it's got a pretty open floor plan, and it's right on what is it? A little lake?
Yeah, it's
Little
got a nice
waterfront.
size. It's pretty bigger than a pond. Seller's firm on the price on that one, just so you know. But that's probably why that one's stuck around for a little while because they got a good offer that they chose not to accept. So
And
we may choose
it's
not
an
to
old,
continue
it's
that
an
listing.
old Port Richie.
Old Port Richard.
It's important. Richard,
Yeah, Jasmine Lake Estates.
Yeah. All
So,
right.
and the next one we have is in Oldsmar, 415 Maplewood Circle, not to get confused with Maple Court, but it's a 3-bed, 1-bath, listed in Oldsmar for $370,000.
I wasn't going to get confused, but now I am.
Maple Court is your condo that you love so much.
Yes, this one's a single family home.
We have Maplewood and Maple, huh?
Yep.
Give me some pancakes.
All right. And I think 10th is sold. I think we got one under contract last night.
Oh, look at that in
Don't-
Cape
don't-
Coral.
We
Yeah.
can't mention it.
You don't even mention
I
it.
think it went under contract.
gone.
So.
Good, good.
Good.
Good, because I wasted so much time at the beginning of this the listing segment. We not talking about a listing helps free up some time.
Well, you know. Yeah, I mean,
It looks like all these are affordable though, too,
Very
price-wise.
affordable.
Like
And
there's
insurable.
and insurable. There's nothing here that looks like it stands out as like, oh my god, we're breaking the bank, which is good, real good.
well, it goes to show though, in those more expensive ones, they're taking longer to move, which is normal.
Well, that's how it should be, right?
I mean, it's just the way it is. You know, your buyer pool it diminishes, it reduces when the rates go up, and
And if I need to sell my home by first quarter 2025, when am I putting it on the market?
I'm gonna look at your days and I'll let you know. I'm gonna look at see how long because
I'm getting ready to select finishes in the new place. So
Oh, getting a new house. All right, look at you.
Leo, I'm putting you on my action list for the day.
because
I'll get
February
back
is
to
my
you on this.
February is my time when we met in November to check up back with you on when would be optimum
You're
time
right.
to list.
Well, I'm gonna give you an answer on days. I'm gonna do that.
Where are you moving to?
St. Pete, getting out of Tampa.
Okay, look at
Okay,
you.
I didn't
Congrats.
look at that.
Building brand new then, huh?
Moving on
Nice.
up.
Literally up.
Deluxe apartment. There was a song about that. There used to be a show.
Yeah, it was called the Jefferson.
Yeah.
So you're going to go from like a 1925 house to a 2025 house.
No, I'm going to go from a
Okay.
1925 house to a 2025 condo.
Ah, okay. Okay.
Which, the reserve study's all good because it's new.
Brand new, brand new. So if you're interested in a 1925 in the heart of historic Ybor, just
What's an ADU?
Are you in VM, Ybor?
yeah, we're in VM Ybor, 813-377-2775. It has an ADU. It has a renter. We can make this
Separate.
happen. And it has a 2-story shed.
All right. 813-377-2775. One of these days, Leo's listings are going to be the one we're going to be talking about. It is a fantastic place. I had a
It
chance
is.
to tour it. It's amazing. Beautiful wood floors. We're going to give you all the details on that when it's time.
And it can be insured.
Love where you live, or we'll fix it. Welcome home.